So the question of the day is, if you're a Catholic, or no, let me actually rephrase that, y'all. If you're a Protestant, should you marry a Catholic? I'm Tamara, and you're watching the Tamara Neely Show. I would like to welcome back all my returning subscribers. And if you're new here, I would like to let you know I'm happy you're here. Okay, y'all. So if it were me, I would ask myself these questions before I even consider marrying a Catholic. Question number one I would ask is, am I okay with my children being born in the Catholic Church? That's a question you've got to ask, because you may meet a man who promises you the world. He tells you, I'm going to take 100% care of you. He's so kind. He makes sure that he's very present in your life. You never have any sort of reservations about his character because he's always so consistent. However, you guys have two conflicting religions, and you have to decide, am I going to be with this guy knowing he's a great guy, but I potentially am sacrificing what I believe is right? It's a hard thing to process. And when you're in a situation like that, if I were in that situation, I would be thinking about my children, my future children, because sometimes it's easier to make a decision when you're not making it for yourself, but for someone else. So I would say that would be the first question that I would ask is, am I okay with my children being raised Catholic? Two, would I be open to becoming a Catholic? Okay. This is an important question to ask yourself, because if you're marrying a Catholic and you're a woman like myself, then and you're a traditional woman, you're a conservative woman, most conservative women want to be submissive to their husband. So whatever their husband believes, they come under their submission. Just like when you take on your husband's last name, you're coming under his family, right? His foundation, his way of thinking. You carry on his last name. So that comes with more than just the last name, though. It comes with his perspectives on life. And so you have to ask yourself, can I respect this person's point of view? And could I see myself also having that same point of view because I'm now under his covering? And that leads me to my third point. Do you think you can be submissive in that relationship? Because what you don't want to happen is you don't want to be arguing about Catholicism versus Protestant, and non-Catholicism. If you're a non-denominational Christian and you're trying to date a Catholic, that's going to be real hard, because Catholics love them. I have so many Catholic friends, love them so much, but they are very traditional people. And you want to be respectful of that person's tradition if you're going to be with that person. It's just as simple as that. Just like if you're with someone who isn't Catholic, you want to make sure that you're respectful of their position. So it comes down to asking yourself these questions and not focusing so much on the way that that person makes you feel, even if that feeling is great. If the feeling is great, but the values don't align, you have to make a decision. And what I don't want you to do is end up in a situation where you don't even know how to make a decision because you're so conflicted between your feelings and what you know to be right. So as you're making this decision, because if you come across this video, maybe you're actually in that situation right now and you're trying to figure out what to do, I would just say, make the right decision, the best decision that you could make. And don't base it off your feelings totally. Base it off of off the facts, because your feelings will change over time. And when you have children, you want to make sure that they're raised with the values that you respect, that you honor, that you appreciate. Because I know if I were in that situation where I was potentially marrying a Catholic, to be honest, I would just be like, okay, I guess I'm going to become Catholic, because I would want to be submissive to my husband. And I'm not even a Catholic. So that would be a sacrifice that I would have to make. And so you have to decide if you're going to make that sacrifice, just like Candace Owens made that sacrifice when she decided to marry a Catholic. She decided to marry a Catholic, and she at first was not Catholic, But of course, her husband was going to continuously work on her. And now, if you see them in videos together, he's always mentioning how she's just this Catholic woman. Candace Owens wasn't a Catholic before she met her husband, George Farmer. But now that she's in that relationship, she's being a submissive wife, and now she's a Catholic. And so you have to think about the cost and the benefits. What is going to make you sleep at night? If it's not going to help you sleep at night and it's not going to bring you peace, don't make that decision to go in that direction. Now, if you're okay with it, you do you. Okay? But all I know is if I was in that situation, I would not marry a Catholic. And I'm just going to be totally honest with you, just because I am not Catholic. I don't see myself becoming Catholics. I love Catholic people. I have friends who are Catholics. However, that's just not my decision, and I have not made that decision to be a part of the Catholic Church. Now you're probably wondering, if you're in that situation and you've decided you're not going to marry a Catholic, what do you do now? Because now you're in a situation where you're about to be a single woman again. Okay? And so if you're in that situation, here's what you want to do. You want to, when you're dating someone, you want to remember that dating is about gathering data. It's not about your feelings. It's not about your emotions. You're trying to make an informed decision because you want to decide, am I going to spend the rest of my life with someone, this person? And so that goes beyond feelings. Okay? It has a lot to do with character and how that person lives their life and the values that they have. And so what you want to do is you want to ask that man, because some people will straight up just not tell you the truth. And maybe you're with a Catholic and he told you, hey, you'll still be Christian. You'll still be Christian. But then you find out later, oh goodness, they don't have the same views I have about Christianity. And I think we got some conflicts here now. And so you don't want to go into it just asking a man, are you a Christian? Because everybody in America, most people are going to be like, yes, I'm a Christian. That's not what you want to ask. You want to ask, hey, I'm interested to know about your faith. Tell me a little bit about it. Do you believe in anything? If so, what is that? Let him talk. And he will talk his way into his outcome. Okay? So you have to really listen. Don't listen so that you can get the outcome you want. Listen to understand who's in front of you. Because so many women marry potential instead of the man who is right in front of them. And I don't want you to get in that situation, because if you get into that situation, what's going to happen is later on, you're not going to respect that man. You're going to start to try to change him instead of accepting him for who he is, which is going to make the man in turn resent you. And that's not what you want, because a resentful man is not what you want. And then a man doesn't want a woman who is very always nagging him. Because even, I'm a believer. Even the Bible tells us that a man would rather be on a rooftop than with a nagging woman. So I think it's very important to understand that respect goes a long way. Men want respect, women want love. So the thing is women, you want to understand men. That's why I always, every now and then, I always say, pick up this book, and it's called For Women Only, Understanding the Inner Lives of Men. If you don't know how men are, read about men. Watch videos that men put out about how they feel about relationships to get an understanding of how they view things. And you got to be careful what type of man you watch, because some men are, not going to be as masculine. Others will be. You have to make that decision and really listen to understand. Okay? So I'll leave it at that. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. If you're in this situation, how are you going to handle it moving forward? And yeah, just let me know what you think. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe button for more content like this. Love y'all, and y'all will hear from me soon. All right?